Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Warning, there are business terms in this video. If you don't want to learn anything, turn back now.
Proceed or be destroyed.
I was just watching Jim Sterling's video where he describes how he became cynical towards the game industry. And it dawned on me, yeah, me too. I don't really play video games anymore for enjoyment. I think there are two reasons for this. The first one's really simple. As I've gotten older, I've become more curious about the design of games and what makes them objectively good or not. This doesn't ruin the enjoyment of the game for me per se, it just changes how I view them. The second is a lot more complicated. After exploring the issue, I really found out it had to do with the gaming industry. Over time, the industry has explored more and more ways to try to get more money from each customer. There's already a business term for this and it's simply called repeat business. And I just want to state that repeat business isn't a bad thing unto itself. Actually, repeat business is actually a good thing. See, what happens is you've bought something from a company and you enjoyed that thing. So what you do is you go back and you buy more from them. It makes logical sense. So this is good for both you and the company. Now on the flip side, it's really hard for the company to actually get new customers. And this is why there's so many advertisements. The company is simply trying to get more customers. This is actually true in any industry. That's why it's a universal business concept. Well, let's talk about those gaming advertisements. Almost every video you see now these days are either staged or pre-rendered cutscenes. Which leads me to only one statement. Who cares? Hey marketing people. Pay attention, I'm talking to you. The industry has done this for over a decade now and still doesn't get it. It's not a movie. Let me show you something. Let me repeat that. It's not a movie. A cutscene only shows me, well, nothing, because I won't be experiencing the game in that way. So I repeat. Who cares? Stop doing this. It's so close to false advertising, I'm surprised that no one's been hit with a class action lawsuit yet. Let's go back for a second. Let's explore the repeat business models that have gotten way out of hand. This started off very innocently, like many things do. There was a game, then the game got a sequel, which is a whole other experience, but if the sequel usually came some graphical improvement, a new story, gameplay, etc. Then games started to get expansions. Still okay, same game, just more to do. They were usually pretty hardy pieces of work that came out. Then came the internet and the advent of DLC. Now, DLC is just a method of getting information to you faster, which isn't bad unto itself. It's like driving your car. It's a series of inputs and rules that lead to a method, but if you don't follow the rules, then you become a danger to yourself and others. And that is the problem with DLC. It started off okay, but then it quickly got off on the wrong foot, and instead of taking a step back and looking at what they did wrong, they just kept running through the cow manure at top speed, with some of the worst being the $50,000 diamond pick, and the newest being Evolve. But before I go on, I want to talk about something called Goodwill. Goodwill is not a reference to Shakespeare, or how much somebody gets in their inheritance. It's a business term. Specifically, it's a term that states, Goodwill is an intangible asset that a company quote-unquote owns, but does not control. So, every company has it. If that's too technical, it's basically how likable you are on the friends list, if you were a company. This is a term that's normally taught in Business 101 classes. So, now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can come back to it. What we were talking about. So, we were talking about the DLC and how it has become, quote, bad. Well, there's a bunch of instances that led to this. One was the Azora's Wrath, the Oblivion Horse Armor, and so on. But it got worse, with Day 1 DLC on the disc. And I'm not talking about color switches or palette changes. I'm talking about programmers, scripters, and artists taken off the main project and put on DLC before the disc went to gold. And then there's the EA ex-CEO paying for bullets because you're not quote-unquote price sensitive. Terrible. Which is when I thought DLC hit an all-time low. But then there came Evolve, which was literally touting its DLC before it came out. For the business professionals in the gaming industry, I just want to translate this into English.
Hey, nice car, right?
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet car.
Yeah, you know what would make that car better? Air conditioning. Uh-huh.
Well, I was just looking to test drive it.
You know what else would make it good? Fancy rims.
That's kind of out of my price range.
Yeah. How about a new paint job?
Well, I kind of told you I can't,
How about bucket seats?
but,
Yeah, see, you're not gonna get the full experience without bucket seats.
and I hope by now you understand what I'm getting at. So if you're doing this, it shows you have no confidence in your product, and it tells me I shouldn't trust you or your product. And by doing that, you're hurting your own goodwill and the industries as a whole. I mean, there's a very easy fix for this, and I'm not sure why all these people, including the bigwigs, aren't doing it. But then it got worse. And now I have to introduce 2 more concepts from a Business 101 class. Well, 3 technically. The first one's supply. This is just the amount of an item you have. Let's say oranges, but it could be anything. 2 is the demand. This is the amount of people who want to buy your item. And then there's this graph, the supply versus demand graph. As the supply of oranges go up, demand goes down, and so does the price or the desire to pay that much. Blah, 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 you get it, right? Now for our third term, flooding the market. Flooding the market is exactly what it sounds like. You put a bunch of those oranges into the market, and people don't want it. It's just that easy. So why am I talking about this? Well, Activision is flooding their own market with the Call of Duty franchise every year with very little innovation. And then Ubisoft is doing the same thing with Assassin's Creed. And then there's that hot mess, which I'll talk about in a second. The last term I'm going to teach you is diversification, which just means stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Literally. I don't know how to explain this. Oh, bugs. 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 I don't even believe I have to say this. And I'm not even talking about the small little glitches that occur like once in a million times. I'm talking about all-out raw, break immersion bugs. I fully understand some bugs in the game. I mean, it's software. You have to do a lot. It's almost impossible to get every single bug. But dear God, look at this. This is not okay. Oh. Lying and posturing. Frankly, this one's embarrassing. Seriously, we're all adults here. Well, I mean, most of us are. And with adulthood comes maturity. Part of maturity is standing up for when you do something wrong and saying, yes, I did that. I thought it would be good and it is not. I will attempt to fix it, and I will not do it again. You see, that last part is about fixing it and not repeating your mistake. When you lie to someone, you have to attempt to make amends for it, and that takes work on your part to regain people's trust. See, companies are no different than people. And I can already see some C-level guy or some analyst saying, but what about our stock prices? Actually, if I ever heard that out of C-level management and I was a stockholder, I would request that he or she be removed from their position at the next meeting. My reason for this is twofold. 1, you don't understand that goodwill is more important over time than a temporary fluctuation in stock prices. And 2, you don't understand the investor-company relationship. As an investor, I have faith in your company, the people, and the products. And in addition to that, I put my money where my mouth is. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand that I don't want to invest in your company if you're saying shit like that. No faith. So why am I talking about this? Well, you can keep doing all these things because they'll eat up the goodwill of your company and the industry. But you could think, well, it's not that bad. They're still making money. Yeah, I mean, the gaming industry isn't the only ones to do this. There's the energy industry, the housing and banking industry. Whoop! Now that I think about it, the gaming industry has already done this. They put money in front of honesty and quality products. And that went all right, right?